Diverticulosis. Sounds like a bit of a tongue twister, right? These medical terms sound so similar, it's really easy to get them mixed up. But what if I told you the difference is actually super simple? In the next few minutes, we are going to clear this up once and for all.
So let's get right to it. What is the difference? Well, it all boils down to just a few key distinctions. Let's start with the most basic one.
All right, first up, one pouch versus many. We're going to get the basics right, and honestly, it really just starts with simple counting. Are we talking about one pouch, or are we talking about a bunch of them? First on the list, diverticulum. See that at the end? The easiest way to remember this is to think of it as meaning one. It's a single sac-like pouch that sticks out from the wall of your digestive tract. Just one. That's a diverticulum. Okay, so what if you've got more than one? Simple. That's when we use the word diverticula. It's just the plural form. So one pouch is a diverticulum. Two or more, well, that's diverticula. And then there's diverticulosis. Now, this one's a little different because it adds a really important piece of the puzzle: symptoms. Or actually, the lack of symptoms. Diverticulosis means you have multiple pouches, diverticula, but they're just chillin'. They aren't causing you any trouble at all.
Oh, and by the way, you might hear people talk about diverticular diseases. Just think of that as the big, giant umbrella term that covers the whole shebang, whether there are symptoms or not.
Awesome. So we've got the names down, but to really get what's going on, we've got to dig a little deeper. And we can do that by asking just two really simple but super important questions about these pouches. So question number one, what's it made of? This is all about the anatomy, the actual physical structure of the pouch itself. What are its walls actually built from? This is absolutely fundamental to classifying them. And the answer to that question splits them into two big groups: true and false diverticula. A true one, well, it's like a perfect little bubble. Its wall has all the normal layers of the intestine, just like it should. But a false one, now this is different. The best way to picture it is like a car tire. Imagine the soft inner tube pushing its way through a weak spot in the tough outer rubber. That's what happens here. The very inner layers, the mucosa and submucosa, have bulged through the outer muscle layer. So that muscle layer, it's missing from the wall of the pouch. And we see this in some classic examples. Meckel's diverticulum, that's your textbook true type, with all its layers intact. But the ones you probably hear about way more often, like those common colonic diverticula, yep, those are almost always the false kind. And this is a really, really important point to remember. Most diverticula are false diverticula. By a long shot, the most common type is the one where that inner lining just pokes right through the muscle wall. Okay, that was our first big question. Ready for number two? This one is all about where it came from. Super simple. Were you born with it, or did it pop up later in life? And that answer gives us our next two categories: congenital and acquired. Congenital means you're born with it. Acquired means it develops sometime after you're born, during your life. See? Pretty straightforward. And just like we saw before, there's a huge difference in how often we see these. The congenital type, the one you're born with, it's way less common. It's the acquired kind, the one that develops over the years, that is far, far more prevalent. All right, so we have covered the names, what they're made of, and where they come from. Now for the best part. Let's connect all these dots. This is where it all clicks into place. You know, that big aha moment. And here it is, the grand connection. Remember the congenital type, the one you're born with, that's less common? Well, that is usually a true diverticulum. But the acquired type, the one that's way more common and develops over time, that is usually a false diverticulum. And that right there is the key idea that ties this whole thing together. Okay, let's lock this in with a super fast 30-second recap. Ready? Diverticulum, one pouch. Diverticulosis, many pouches, no symptoms. True, has all the gut wall layers. False is missing that muscle layer, and it's the most common. And finally, congenital, you're born with it, and it's usually true. Acquired, develops later, and it's usually